Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Pace, and welcome back to everyone who's already a subscriber to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now. First time guest on the show. It's always an honor. In this case, sibling, which is always fun. I've had the Cahill brothers on before. This is, I think, the second or third sibling set to come on the show. So very excited for Jack Lledo, the younger brother of undefeated MMA fighter who was going to be fighting for 247 Fighting Championships, 185-pound amateur belt here in a couple weeks, but that fight has fallen through. But I know he's still eager to get back in the cage. So let's welcome Jack Lledo, who's making his debut in MMA for 247 Fighting Championships, Brawl in the Burgh 21, April 20th at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Very nice having you on the show. I was building up to your intro. We'll get to kind of how your brother and the connection there with your family and all of that. But let's start about the fact that you are a sophomore at Ohio University, a Division I school, and you are the number 2. You're the backup for 165 for the starter who was a national qualifier at Division I. So obviously you've been there 2 years. Let's start with your wrestling history, your wrestling experience, and you give us the highlights of your wrestling career up till now, of course, as a Division I wrestler.
Yeah, so I started wrestling a little later than a lot of people do. I started in 7th grade. So it was kind of hard at first, like taking my lumps, taking losses, because people had a couple years on me, but I just like fell in love with it almost right away. Wanted to get in the room as much as I could, just get better and just like start beating kids that were beating me. So yeah, I started in 7th grade. I really 7th, 8th, 9th grade, I was probably like 500, winning as much as I lost. Then in 10th grade, I got a little better. I made regionals in Pennsylvania, it was pretty good. Then junior year, I qualified for states my first time, which I was excited about. And then finally senior year, I placed in Pennsylvania, placed the states, which was really exciting. That was probably one of the biggest highlights of my wrestling career up until this point. And then I kind of wanted to get away from home a little bit, and I took a visit to Ohio, and I just fell in love with it. It was actually the only visit I took to a college campus, and I committed like on the spot before I even left Athens. I loved it that much. Freshman year, I redshirted. I had a good time. I got a lot better. And then sophomore year, this year, I was the backup, but I appeared in a couple matches. I won some. I got a lot better again. So I really feel like I'm jumping levels every year I'm in college.
Well, you have shown, I mean, the ability to start wrestling not at 3 or 4 or 5 like most people do, but in 7th grade, which is right around, 13 years old, so maybe 5 years late than most people. And then by your senior year, that levels throughout your entire high school development. I think that mentally helps you not only in wrestling, but as we transition to talk about MMA. But before we get to MMA, you're going to be making your debut, but obviously you're still at Ohio. What are you looking forward to as a junior next year? Are there levels that you're looking? Is there a tournament you're excited to get into, or kind of what are your thoughts for next year?
Yeah, next year. So I try to keep my goals like individual instead of like accomplishment based. So I'm always just looking to get better every single day, win those little victories, like maybe get a takedown on this guy today, like get a little better from week to week, maybe place higher at a tournament than I did last year. Just little things, and not sometimes looking at the smaller picture and taking it day by day than the big picture.
That is a great mindset to have, obviously, and that's the way you make those jumps that you did in high school and now in college. So can't wait to have you on. Hopefully in the future you can come on and talk specifically about wrestling. We've done that before on this show because, of course, it connects. What led you to start training? And I know you don't train at the same gym with your brother because you're out in Athens, of course, and you train at One Academy HQ. So talk about that gym. How long have you been training there, and kind of what was that transition like to be doing wrestling, Division I, and also MMA training?
Yeah. So originally I got in MMA for the same reason I got into wrestling, and that was my older brother. He did it. And so naturally as a little brother, I wanted to start doing it. And we have a little brother too, Sam, who's starting to get into it too. So it's great, like having like that kind of family affair, like we're all pushing each other, getting better. So, and MMA, like it's really exciting having like a new craft to work at, and kind of like I'm starting wrestling all over again, getting like a little bit better every day, picking up new things, just learning a new martial art, learning anything new is just so exciting to me. So like that was another big reason I got into it. And then for One Academy, I love it. It's great. It's a like Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu focus, but Carlos Mendez, he runs both of the Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu curriculum. And I couldn't be more thankful for him as a coach. He's so knowledgeable, like always willing to sit down, talk through positions. He rolls with us too. He's not just sitting from the sidelines and coaching us. So I'm really thankful and excited to have Carlos like by my side through my journey.
And you said he's Carlos. What's his last name?
Mendez.
Mendez. That's great. I always like to know who's going to be in your corner. So it sounds like you found the ideal gym, because obviously your wrestling background, if you had found a wrestling gym and those are great, you might not have developed the other areas. Finding a Muay Thai BJJ, because of course wrestling has elements of positions, but you don't learn the finishes. And of course, Muay Thai, you don't learn any of that in wrestling. So it really sounds like it is quite the blend for you. How long ago did you start training? And how long did Coach Mendez believe that you were ready to take your debut?
Yeah, so I started going there like at the end of my freshman year last year. I did like the 2-week trial, like because I wanted to try it out. But at that point, I didn't know if I wanted to fight or not. And then I started going again at the beginning of this year, and I did it consistently for a couple months. And then I took a little break because
Yeah.
it's hard to do MMA and wrestling like with like twice a day practices and class and all that. So I took a little break from it during the season, and I got back into it probably halfway through February. I felt like I just kept everything. I like even time off got a little better. Even just like watching videos sometimes can make you better. And then probably halfway through March, I was talking to James about trying to get a fight on the same card because that was our original plan. And he got to talking to Hunter for me. He gave me Hunter's number. I was talking to him, and they offered the fight on the 20th, and I said yes, obviously. And I talked to Carlos about it, and he was a little unsure at first, but ultimately he gave me the green light. We've been training every day since, getting ready for it. So I'm super excited.
Well, it makes sense. Having had similar conversations with your brother, I know that when you're a Division I wrestler, there's windows where you not only have to train MMA, because there's going to be windows where your priority is wrestling, which makes sense, your focus. So not only do you have to train MMA, you then also ideally have to take fights during your window. So, it sounds like you're going to be doing a lot more of the learning component coming into a fight camp. Because some people, the coach's strategy is in a fight camp, you're not really necessarily learning anything new. You're kind of just, tooling up what you already have. Whereas obviously for you, you're going to be trying to learn as much as you can coming into this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your opponent, Evan Furlong. He is making his debut against you. He's known to be a BJJ blue belt. I think that's about all we know. So what are your thoughts on him, and both, kind of your prediction and also kind of what you think? I have to say, for you to take a fight against somebody who obviously might have some more jiu-jitsu experience than you is commendable, but also flip it. Most guys turn down wrestlers, not to mention Division I wrestlers. I mean, I know from behind the scenes, and I'm not privy to a lot. The legendary Jim Mooney would know more, but a lot of times, if an opponent figures out that somebody wrestled in middle school or high school, it can scare them away because wrestling is such a base of MMA. So talk a little bit about what you know about Evan, kind of how you see this fight going April 20th at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows.
Yeah. First of all, I respect that he took the fight because, like you said, people they don't want to fight wrestlers, and James learned the hard way about that. He's having such a tough time getting a fight. So I'm appreciative that he even took the fight. I guess he thinks with his jiu-jitsu that he's gonna have advantage on the ground, but I don't see it going that way. I think worst case scenario, I just take him down and just control him on top. But obviously, I'm looking for a finish. I wanna get it out of there quick, get the crowd hype, do my job, and get out of there and get ready for the next fight, ideally. But I think I have an advantage like wherever it goes. Honestly, I know how cliche that sounds, but I've been working my butt off. Carlos has been getting me ready. My brother's been getting me ready. I'm actually going up to Pittsburgh tomorrow to train with James, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm feeling the growth every day, just getting better on the ground, on my feet, mindset. Wherever the fight goes, I'm ready.
And how special, that's a great mindset to have. How special is it for you and your brother James to share this passion? Obviously, you used to do a lot of wrestling together growing up, and now you're MMA, and he's really, what, 2 years ahead of you in MMA in the sense of taking the fights. But so what's it been like training with him? And let's say this fight goes great and you're looking to potentially fight on the next 247 card, which is in mid-June. Will you be training back at one or will be in training with James? Are you a resident that comes home? Or are you staying out in Ohio? Like, what's your game plan for the summer between your sophomore and junior year?
Yeah. So having this passion to share with James is super awesome. We've talked about like the long-term goals that we have, like past our amateur careers, past the advanced amateur, like living together, training every day, like going pro, because we really are passionate about this and we want to make it a lifestyle. So it's really awesome to share that with him. He has my best interest in mind. I have his best interest in mind. We push each other. We're both super hard workers, and we want to do this full time. We're really in love with the sport. For training, school ends in May. I'm gonna go back home for at least May, train back there. James and I go to Bill Algio's gym
Mhm.
in King of Prussia. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Um, and then June and July, I'm unsure of right now. I might come back to school. I might stay at home, but either way, I'm gonna have a great place to train.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I actually know Bill Algio out of King Prussia. I used to follow the Eastern Pennsylvania side of MMA several years ago, back when he was doing Muay Thai and early in his MMA career before he made it to the UFC. So yeah, and he, I think his fight nickname is Professor Perfecto.
Senor Perfecto.
Senior Perfecto. It's still there. It's still there. And he is I mean, he is a tactician. He's still actively fighting in the UFC. But I remember talking to him and doing some interviews with him back then that um, he really is a coach. Like, obviously, he's a high level fighter, but he really loves coaching. And for what I remember, I saw him do pro Muay Thai in addition to MMA. And so, obviously, a great person for you. Um, Really sounds like a great matchup. I have reached out. Hopefully, Evan will be coming on so we can get his side of the debut. I think debuters are so exciting because um, fighters can't progress in their career without starting at debut. You got to
Mhm.
start someplace. Your brother started debut, and I had the honor of calling that. And you got to start someplace. Lucas the Sniper Siebert, that just was announced today that he signed a 247 fighting championship deal where he's exclusive deal. He made his debut amateur with 247. And so it really is about starting your career and then seeing where it goes. For you, what is going to feel special or unique or new? Because obviously you've made a lot of tough walks as a wrestler. You've competed at Division One, where you said sometimes you got to compete, obviously, and got some wins and learn. So, what are you looking forward to in the MMA world that might be a bit unique or a bit different than the wrestling scene?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is it's kind of weird to say, but like the fear of losing like a fight. It's not a match that I'm going into. It's a fight. And that fear is kind of what makes me so excited to do it. Like being in a fight is a lot different than being in a match. So like I'm gonna have to go out there. I'm gonna fight for my life. I'm not just going out there and trying to outpoint this guy. I'm trying to take him out, knock him out, tap him out, anything. Like beat him up. I'm not trying to win a match. So I'm excited for that.
It's a great mindset to have. I can't wait. This is the opportunity for people to get tickets while they still last at 247fighting.com or directly from a fighter or a fight gym that has a fighter on it. Also, great opportunity for people that are going to be too far away, maybe people from your university or whatever. Download the app in any app store, 247 Live. That'll give you the opportunity to buy the pay per view, or you could even go ahead and get the year subscription, which will give you every pay per view for the year, which is a great deal. Plus, every fight in the history of 247, which includes the 3 fights of your brother. as well as some other incredible fights. And if people do get the 247 Live app, they really need to check out your brother James Lledo versus Ken Burns, and just how incredible fight that was. It literally was, top level amateur versus amateur, both high level wrestlers. Both guys wanted to throw down, both knocked each other down. Incredible fight. And so it's a great opportunity to see you. Can't wait for April 20th. Really fantastic having you on the show. Thanks so much, Jack. Hope to have you on many, many times in the future. This is Luke Payson from MMA Fancast, thanking Jack Lledo for coming on the show for the first time ahead of April 20th. Brawl in the Burgh 21 for 247 Fighting Championships. Thanks so much, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
You take care. Can't wait to see you and all the fighters on the card, both Sprawl in the Burgh 3, April 19th, and Brawl in the Burgh 21. Thanks so much. Take care.